Welcome back to another episode of Organized Chaos Stories with Shabana. I'm your host, Shabana Knight. This is the place where life's beautiful messes transform into wisdom, laughter, and inspiration. In each episode, I'll be sharing real stories, mine and others, about the twists, turns, and unexpected lessons that life brings. Together, let's learn to turn life's messes into messages, struggles into stories, and chaos into clarity. Happy spring. We just stepped into a new season here in the United States. And there is something about spring that always feels like possibility, like a fresh start, like following little nudges from your heart. So today, for Manifesting Monday, I want to share a story about a time I followed one of those nudges and it turned into something so much more meaningful than I ever could have expected. It was spring 2023. Spring break was about 2.5 weeks away, and we had no plans. I was out on one of my daily walks talking to my mom on the phone, and I asked her what they were doing for Easter on the East Coast. And I already knew what she was going to say, our usual traditions growing up. One day was with my dad's side of the family. Another day was driving up to New Jersey to see my mom's side. And I got emotional. I realized I was missing home. Keep in perspective, spring 2020 to 2021 was the pandemic. 21 to 22 was lots of new normals, and now it was 2023. We had all been through so much in the last 2.5, 3 years, and the weight of missing home was just heavier. No one really tells you how hard holidays can feel when you move across country. As your kids get older, as time moves faster, there's this deep desire to hold on to their childhood while also missing your own. And I just felt it so strongly in my bones in that moment. I wanted my kids to experience the kind of Easter I grew up with. So through the tears, I said to my mom, I want us all to come home for spring break. If we can find affordable tickets, does it work for us to come out for a visit? And of course, she said yes. As soon as I got off the phone, David thankfully was working from home that day, and we started to look for flights, and somehow everything lined up. Direct flights, round-trip tickets, seats together during spring break, and at an incredibly affordable price. I honestly couldn't believe it. It was like the universe was saying, hey, you need to go do this. You need to go home. This is important, and I am parting the Red Sea, and in this case, the sky, for all of you to go home for a visit. It felt like one of those moments where all the doors just opened up. So we booked the tickets, and just like that, it was happening. That trip ended up being one of our best trips home to Baltimore. The weather was beautiful, sunny and warm, a perfect escape from rainy Washington. But more than that, it was everything we needed emotionally. My kids got to experience Easter the way I grew up. Easter egg hunts, dyeing eggs, family traditions on both sides, special foods, desserts, the egg cracking game, all of it. They got to meet with their great-grandparents, spend time with family, and be part of something that meant so much to me as a child. The day we went up to New Jersey to see more family, my grandparents, my aunts, my cousins, and of course, my aunt's amazing cookies. She's the baker of the family. We took more pictures that trip than usual as I flipped through my phone just now. I even took pictures of the rooms of the house and the attic of things that were memorable to me. You see, this house has so much history, it should be a history museum. Honestly, and I believe it's one of the oldest houses in the town. I could be wrong, but it's iconic. It has a white fence. It's a brick house, 3 stories, with ivy growing all up the side facing the street. It's a beautiful house. So many good memories. One of my favorite memories that my mom told me growing up is that when they were kids for Christmas, her parents, so my grandparents, would get a Christmas tree that would be 12 to 15 feet tall, I want to say. But the tree would come in Christmas Eve, and then Santa, as long as they had been good children, which they always were, Santa would come in and decorate it Christmas Eve. So when they woke up Christmas morning, the tree would be all decorated with all the presents underneath the tree. And all the siblings would sleep with a small pair of scissors, like under their pillows. So Christmas morning, when they would come down and open presents, they would all have a good pair of scissors to open up their presents and stuff, because my grandma was so good at wrapping gifts and curling ribbons, and it would just be like such a tight curl and ribbons and stuff. And even growing up, we would have a hard time opening presents from grandma, because she was like so good at tying bows and packaging presents and stuff. I don't know how she did it. She was like a magician. This podcast is sponsored by Happy Mail. I created Happy Mail for when you don't have the words, Happy Mail does. Happy Mail sends handwritten cards of encouragement that uplift, comfort, and reminds everyone they matter. Happy Mail is better than a McDonald's Happy Meal, spreading kindness, not calories. Click the link in the show notes and get your Happy Mail sent ASAP. Limited to U.S. residents only. But anyway, my grandmother and grandfather were the first family members we got to see when we came to America. They loved us the first moment they laid eyes on our frail little bodies. With hearts as big as gold, they were the kindest people ever, always remembering every birthday and every occasion, always sending cards, and always being a big part of our lives. So like any visit up to New Jersey, when the time was to leave their house, my grandmother would always say in her voice, and this time her sweet 92-year-old voice, she would hold me close and she would say, "Oh, Shabana, I'm getting older, so I don't know if this will be the last time I see you. But I want you to know I love you. I'm so proud of you. Your children are beautiful, and I can tell that you and David are wonderful parents. I love all the stories your mom shares with me, and I wish you lived closer. I'm going to stop so I don't cry anymore." And we would hug and embrace, and it would just be such a beautiful, special moment that we would always share whenever we would come visit throughout the years. And she would hug me and kiss me, and she would look at all of her grandkids and give them hugs. And then we would exit the house and be on our way. And they were just such special moments. And I can still hear her voice sharing those sweet words with us. And what I didn't know at the time, that would be the last time that my kids and I would see her in her home. She unfortunately passed away very quickly a year later in June 2024. And when I look back now, that desire to go home, that spring break, it wasn't random. It had meaning. It had purpose. And I'm so grateful we followed it. We got to see her healthy, strong in her home in her 90s and created those final memories together. That trip gave us something I didn't even know we needed. And that's the thing about manifestation. Sometimes it's not just about getting what you want. It's about being guided towards what your soul knows you need. You don't always know why you have a desire, but you have to trust it. Follow the breadcrumbs. Check if the door opens, and if they do, walk through them. I'm so proud of myself for following that nudge, for just checking the flights, for being open to the possibilities, because it led to one of the most meaningful trips of our lives. And I want to leave you with one more story, because this one is just fun and honestly such a perfect example of how effortlessly manifestation can be. This actually happened on a different trip to Baltimore in August 2022. This was our first trip back to what I call home after the pandemic. All 5 of us went back to Baltimore. I was so excited for us all to fly and see everyone, all my family. We were done being cooped up in our house, and it was time to start life again. My middle child, aka my obsessed baseball lover child, had been playing baseball since he was 5 years old, has made the all-star team many times, and now is on varsity baseball as a freshman this year. At the time, he had just finished elementary school and was about to enter middle school, so 6th grade. My brother offered to take us to a Baltimore Orioles baseball game at Camden Yards, and of course, he's like, yes, we have to go. So we all go to this game. But before the game, my dad, so Ryan's favorite grandpa, goes, "If you catch a ball at the game, I'll give you $100. Ryan acknowledges Grandpa with a huge grin and says, "Okay." With his glove glued to his hand, we're off to the ballpark. When we get to the game, we park, we go in, we walk around, we take pictures by Ken Griffey Jr., All-Star Home Run Derby, and we find our seats. And now here's where it gets wild. We actually end up switching seats when we get there. And if we hadn't done that, he wouldn't have been where he was sitting. Because of that night, Ryan, he not only caught one ball, but he caught two balls. And they weren't just like balls that were tossed to the crowds. These were hits straight to him like a magnet to his glove. He made bank and we were all freaking out with excitement. It just reminded me kids are incredible manifestors. They set an intention, they let go, they have fun, and then when it happens, they're just pure joy and gratitude. So maybe that's the lesson for all of us. Follow the nudge. Trust the desire, go have fun, and watch things manifest. Because sometimes the most beautiful, meaningful moments in life start with a simple what if. And that's what ties both of these stories together so beautifully. In one story, I followed an emotional nudge, something deeper calling me home, and it led to one of the most meaningful, soul-filling experiences of my life. In the other, my son set a simple intention, let it go, have fun, and watched it come straight to him twice. One was deeply emotional and layered. The other was light, playful, and effortless, but both were manifestations. And that's the reminder. Manifestation isn't just one thing. Sometimes it looks like listening to your heart when it doesn't even make logical sense yet. Sometimes it looks like curiosity, just checking to see if something could work. And sometimes it looks like pure joy, play, and trust. Like a kid at a baseball game with a glove on, just believing something good could happen. Both matter, both are powerful, and both require the same foundation: trust, openness, and a willingness to follow the nudge. Here are some key takeaways from today's episode. Your desires are not random. They are guiding you somewhere meaningful. You don't need to have the full plan. Just take the next aligned step. When doors open with ease, pay attention. That's alignment. Emotional pulls are just as important as logical ones. Manifestation isn't about control. It's about allowing. And sometimes the most meaningful moments come from simply asking, what if? Here are some manifestation mantras. Say these, write them down, or come back to them this week. I trust the desires placed on my heart. I am open to aligned opportunities showing up with ease. I follow the nudges even when I don't fully understand them yet. What is meant for me will find me, and I am willing to meet it halfway. I allow joy, play, and ease to be part of my manifestations. I am always being guided to exactly where I need to be. So as you move through this week, ask yourself, what is one small nudge I can follow? What is one what if I'm willing to explore? Because you never know. That one small step might turn into a memory that lasts a lifetime. I love you and know that I'm incredibly proud of you. Go and manifest the best possibilities for your life. A life filled with so much joy, peace, and abundance and happiness, and some glitter along the way. Till next time, keep showing up and showing out, because the world needs who you were designed to be. That beautiful, authentic, real you. Love you. Talk to you next time. Bye. Hey you, yes you. Thank you so much for listening to Organized Chaos, Stories with Shabana. If you love this episode as much as I did, hit that subscribe button, leave an outstanding review, and share it with a friend who needs some inspiration. Thank you for being part of this community. Remember, in every bit of chaos, there is always a story waiting to emerge. Who knows, maybe sharing your story might inspire others to share theirs. The possibilities are endless. Let's live in the possibilities.